Warning, the following audio-visual content contains
minor spoilers.
Warning, subscribe to Vito or perish in the flame.
One thing's for sure. I'm done running from my past.
It has been a year and a half since I have been inside a movie theater. How weird is that? The last movie I saw in theaters was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Meow?
And I don't know why I stopped going to the movies. I don't know what happened between Sonic the Hedgehog and now. I guess I just didn't feel like going. There's no other reason. But I decided, why not? Time to go see a big Hollywood movie. We've been waiting for this one. Black Widow! It's finally here. It's finally here. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has finally given us a Black Widow movie. And how is it? It's all right. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's not bad. It's in that realm of Marvel movies where it's like enjoyable to watch. You're not going to go back and ever watch it again because there's really not enough there to get out of it. But if you want to kill, an hour and a half, 2 hours, you want to watch some stupid mind-numbing action, a couple little Marvel jokey jokes.
Natasha, don't slouch.
I'm not slouching.
Oh my God, this... All right, enough.
Whatever. It's like eating a lot of cotton candy. All right, every once in a while you want to eat a bunch of cotton candy. You don't want to eat it every day. You don't want cotton candy breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But occasionally somebody comes along and they go, "You want some cotton candy?" You go, "Sure. Feed me some disgusting sugar clouds. Shove them down my stupid throat." This is the worst metaphor. Well, that's what Black Widow is. It's a lot of fluff, not a ton of substance, but it's something to do. Now, I will avoid getting into spoilers, but this movie takes place after Civil War, before all the Thanos stuff. So this is while the Avengers are all getting arrested. Hawkeye's in prison. Ant-Man's in prison. And our good friend, Black Widow, is on the run. So it's all about what she was up to in that little window of time, which is kind of interesting. It's interesting to be slotting this movie in to an existing slot on the Marvel timeline. I kind of like fleshing in some backstory there. I actually thought that was interesting. Does it matter? Does it have any real bearing on the events of the later movies? No. Like, this is a throwaway side story. What do you get out of this one? I mean, you learn a little bit about Black Widow. You learn where she gets her vest. Very, very important stuff. Is that a spoiler? I don't know. Now, one thing I was worried about is when you get these female-led superhero movies, for some reason the writers always feel the need to remind you that they're female.
You need a ride, darling? How about a smile for me, huh?
Listen, I've had my eyes on you for some time, so if you ever need
That's great, Carl.
It's very weird. It's like Iron Man just gets to be Iron Man. Thor just gets to be Thor. But then I recently watched Captain Marvel, and it's all about, because she's a woman, they don't respect her, and, all this women's oppression. I'm like, why don't you just make Captain Marvel like a cool character? Why is it always about their gender?
I mean, the whole message here of a female empowerment, Vito. This is a positive.
This movie hits you over the head. Every flashback is a man telling her, "You'll never fly through space with a magic suit."
Have you ever? You clearly did not grow up as a woman, Vito.
And I got a little worried when they started this movie off that maybe it was going to go that way. But thankfully, there's a bare minimum of that, which is great. Now, obviously, there is some stuff about female oppression just built into the Black Widow character. The whole idea that she was kidnapped by this place called the Red Room, whatever, some evil Russian organization that turned her into a super spy. Joss Whedon kind of made things a little complicated. If you remember, in Age of Ultron, he established, by the way, they ripped out my uterus, which is, why am I laughing? That's dark.
In the Red Room, where I was trained, they sterilize you.
It's too dark, though. It's a little too dark for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And in this movie, that's kind of where the weirdness comes from. Black Widow, again, got taken away as a child. And if all they did was turn her into a super cool badass and then she escaped, you would be like, oh, well, at least she came out of the experience with powers. But now it's this complicated, messy, taking out your internal organs type thing. And the characters start cracking jokes about it. I was watching it and I was like, I can't believe they're joking about the forced hysterectomies. I can't believe this is happening.
They kind of just go in, and they rip out all of your reproductive organs. They just get right in there.
Okay, you don't have to get so clinical and nasty.
Oh, well, I was about to talk about fallopian tubes.
I feel like there's going to be some backlash from certain feminist groups or something that go, you can't joke about ripping out a woman's reproductive system. I'm like, well, they went there. We'll see how that plays out. So that's kind of the weird place the movie's at, is that it is dealing with these very dark themes of, you know, what it's like to not have a family, to be ripped away from your birth parents, to be set up with a fake family, and basically have your whole childhood ruined. That's all very dark stuff, like super dark. But it's a Marvel movie, and everybody's making little quips, little jokes. There's little bits of fun, and they are funny, and I'm laughing, and they're good jokes.
They think.
But it's very weird because you have this very dark background for the characters that I don't know. There is an incongruity there we have to acknowledge. Now, I love having a whole movie focused on Black Widow because you actually get to see Scarlett Johansson's a really good actress. Like in the Avengers movies, she's always kind of a bit character, so she doesn't get a ton of scenes to herself. But here, I'm like, wow, she's able to really get me invested in this character. It's believable.
Your husband, he renovates houses?
That is not my story.
What is your story?
I never let myself be alone long enough to think about it.
Again, with some of that dark stuff, I mean, she shows real emotions. You feel really bad for her character and her backstory. And seeing her, you know, overcome that past trauma and right the wrongs against her, I was rooting for her. I was right there with her. It was very good acting from Scarlett Johansson. But I think what everybody else is talking about is this Florence Pugh lady. Pugh? I don't know how to pronounce it. Whatever. She played Yelena Belova. I'm not cheating by looking at IMDb right now. She plays, let's just say, another super spy lady with a lot of crazy powers. And the play between her and Black Widow is great. She's kind of like a younger spy. She's a lot cockier. She's actually making fun of Black Widow's, like, over-the-top posing.
This thing that you do when you whip your hair when you're fighting with the arm and the hair, and you do like a fighting pose. It's a fighting pose. You're a total poser.
I'm not a poser.
I was like, that's pretty funny. That's some funny little interplay we got here. They're definitely setting her character up to interweave her into the MCU, it looks like. So we're going to see more from her, and definitely a good first entry for that character. But you know who I want more of? I want more of the Red Defender. I loved this guy.
It still fits.
Oh my god.
Now, somebody asked me, they're like, does David Harbour ever actually seem like an actual Russian? No, this is very clearly an American guy doing a Russian accent.
You should have brought the Avengers Superjet.
But if you look past that, the idea of this aging Russian super soldier, who's basically, you know, kind of like a chubby Russian Captain America, I gotta get more of this guy. He was great. He was the best comedic part of the movie. He's kind of a father figure to these two ladies. Obviously, they don't want him as their father figure because he's kind of a washed-up weirdo. But it really works out, the interplay there. I really enjoyed that. But maybe where this movie kind of falls apart are the villains. I mean, you've probably seen it in the trailers. We've got Taskmaster. Now, Taskmaster starts off the movie, I was like, wow, this is a cool-looking villain. It's a very much meant to call to mind the stoic, quiet Winter Soldier type character who's just a total badass, shows up, starts breaking shit, doesn't say anything. And what's cool about Taskmaster is Taskmaster's whole thing is that he can analyze different people's moves and end up mimicking them entirely, which I wish they had gotten deeper into. Like, I wanted them to say, oh, he's been watching all this footage of the Avengers. That's why he has Captain America's shield. He has Black Panther's, like, talons. And there's, like, some of that. I don't know if that was intentional, if he's supposed to be an amalgamation of all the other Avengers. But I really wish they had played into that more. It would have been cool. Unfortunately, they don't do enough to make Taskmaster, like, a truly effective villain. You want, like, a Terminator. Like, somebody who's always there, who's squeezing the life out of somebody. You needed more of that character really being like an invincible threat, this unstoppable force where every time they show up, you're like, oh my god, it's Taskmaster, they're fucked. But really, beyond a couple cool fights, they don't use Taskmaster as much as I think they should have. Some people are also going to be really mad. I already had this fight on Twitter. Somebody goes, I heard they ruined Taskmaster. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we know, will take characters that are already established and just change them up entirely. I mean, let's look at the Mandarin. It was a guy who was paid to play a part. It was not anything.
My name's Trevor Slattery. The Mandarin, see, it's not real.
Taskmaster has a completely different origin. It's a completely different thing. And yes, if you go into the movie and you're like, I love Taskmaster, I'm the ultimate Taskmaster fan, you're probably going to come out and go, that's not my Taskmaster. But you have to understand that most people, including myself, do not care about Taskmaster. I really don't. I don't care. But the ultimate villain is Dreykov, the guy who invented the Red Room and trains all the Black Widows. So you're getting, at the end of this movie, basically evil businessman, evil white man, which was fine. I think they played it pretty well. He's interesting enough. A lot of Marvel movies, you end with fighting a big monster, stopping, a giant space laser. Here, it's Black Widow arguing with an old white man.
But it's easier to be tough in front of defenseless little girls, huh?
At least it's different. And to be clear, it does become a genuine action sequence, and she's fighting off multiple Black Widows and whatever else. So if you're looking for like a giant world-ending plot, some sort of doomsday plot, she's got to uncover a giant monster she's got to fight. No, it's kind of a very self-contained story about going through her past. There's a bit of a overarching mission that they're trying to accomplish. But ultimately, it's kind of a small personal story. The stakes are kind of contained to her and her little sphere of the world. And I think it works. I don't think it needed to be a giant end-the-world plot. Not every Avenger needs to stop at Armageddon every 10 seconds. So ultimately, what I say to see this movie, yeah, why not? I don't know. What else you got to do? The movie theaters are open again. It's like $15 for a ticket. Again, if you're a big Taskmaster fan, you're going to be mad. If you hate women superheroes because you're one of these, I don't know. They always say that. Oh, you just didn't say it because you don't like women. If you're worried that this is going to be like a Captain Marvel or a Wonder Woman, beat you over the head with I'm every woman, women are empowered, men are the worst. You get a tiny bit of that, but not too much. And it doesn't go over the top with it. It's all perfectly reasonable. I don't know. It's something to watch. Am I going to watch it again? Not anytime soon, but I don't know. I don't feel bad for having seen it. It fills in a little piece of the Marvel puzzle. And we get to see Scarlett Johansson, what I assume is the last time we're going to see her play Black Widow. I can't imagine she's coming back for this character. If you think there's some sort of after credits thing where she's coming back, I'll give you one spoiler. She's got better things to do. Scarlett Johansson has played that character enough times. She ain't coming back. All right, but there is an after credits sequence. So stick around for that. Ultimately, Black Widow, I don't know. I'm not good at grading these things. I'll give it 3.5. 3.5 stars. Something to watch. Cotton candy. Shove it in your mouth, America. All right, well, that was my review. Let me know. Did you see the movie? If so, please let me know in the comments. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Were you mad that Taskmaster was not the badass, whatever the hell from the comic? I don't read comic books. I got no time for it. Don't forget to subscribe. We got more cool videos coming soon. Peace and love. Take care of yourself. Go to the movies. You deserve it. You deserve it.